I want to shift one more gear before we get to those stories, Nomi, and take you to Steve Bannon. I know that you watch and you analyze his work a lot, and I think it's meaningful. Steve Bannon, of course, is a former senior advisor to Donald Trump, and quite frankly, one of the leading voices in this global right-wing fascist movement. He had a meltdown. This is a couple days old, but I wanted to share with you. He had a meltdown in response to Vice President Mike Pence. When Mike Pence finally said something good, right? A broken clock, right, twice a day. He finally admitted that what Donald Trump was doing was wrong. Too little, too late, if you ask me. But it really sent Steve Bannon into a tizzy, because I want people to be sure there is a concerted effort. There is an actual plan. They are not making mistakes. They are executing an agenda, and that agenda has been orchestrated by people like Steve Bannon. I'm going to show two clips. The first is of Mike Pence as he casually dismisses and firmly dismisses Donald Trump. And then I want to play the second part, which is Steve Bannon melting down because Republicans are supposed to work in lockstep together. Let's run those clips.
President Trump said I had the right to overturn the election. But President Trump is wrong. I had no right to overturn the election. The presidency belongs to the American people and the American people alone. And frankly, there is no idea more un-American than the notion that any one person could choose the American president. Under the Constitution, I had no right to change the outcome of our election. And Kamala Harris will have no right to overturn the election when we beat them in 2024.
Pence, you're going to carry this thing eventually to your grave, okay? Because it is a mark of shame, and you are a stone-cold coward. A stone-cold coward. Boris Epshteyn. We're going to start with numbers and analysis, and then this thing broke this afternoon. My head's blown up, so Boris, you got to help me out here, brother. I can't take Pence. And I can't take Pence and Mark Short and all these Koch guys up there ratting out Trump up on Capitol Hill right now.
Now, just for extra credit, I want everyone in the audience to Google Boris Epshteyn and Google how close he is to your local news broadcast. How many times he's been on your local news broadcast as if he's a normal news commentator. He's almost on every local news station because of how their situation is set up, right? But here he is with Steve Bannon talking about overthrowing the damn government. No, Miki.
Oh, man. So I know Boris. This is a painful one here. Boris does not have an actual value in his body. I can say that. And I'm going to start saying this stuff because, you know, over the years being in media, as you know, Ben, you get to know these people if you are debating them or if you've been in campaigns like I have. It's professional to not talk about them, but I'm going to talk about them because I think that a personality, you understand what their motivations are and what's really happening. And I don't think a lot of folks understand. I really don't. These people are full of crap. They have no values. This is a game to them. You know, he used to walk into Fox News and say whatever it was to get attention. He would yell at the makeup artist. He was noticed, like he was basically pushed off of Fox News because of that. He was pushed and he rewarded with his actions on the campaign, the Trump inaugural committee in 2016. But then he couldn't even maintain that because his personality was so aggressive that nobody wanted to work with him. So then he was pushed to local. But this is important because the cockroaches will always find a place to go. And local news, I mean, he works with the Sinclair Media Group, I believe, or did work with them at least. And he is on, I was visiting my parents in Arizona, and there's Boris on TV delivering the news. I'm like, Boris Epshteyn, the lobbyist he's being investigated for Russian interference. I mean, like, what? This guy should not be on a local channel. He's an operative. Right. It is like if Steve Bannon had a local news channel and was delivering you the local news, and no one was saying anything out loud, which is why I'm saying this, because you know, you do have to kind of explain who these people are in these universes. Sure. I don't know where the investigation is now, but he was very much part of the Russia investigation, as was Bannon, of course, who was, let's remind folks, arrested on his yacht, Mr. Man of the People. I don't know. I mean, this is dangerous stuff. And
And you know, I wanted to make this segment about this conversation really about Mike Pence and Steve Bannon, but I think it is more important. No, not at all. I think it is literally more important for people to understand that last part that you just said. And Dwayne, if you don't mind backing up the B-roll to show Steve Bannon next to Boris, because I really think anyone who's listening to us, if you just search your local news station, if you call them and ask them or email them and ask them, you are absolutely going to find out that the man who is standing next to Steve Bannon in this clip has been feeding you analysis in your local news as if he's an unbiased reporter. I think that's more important than Steve Bannon at this juncture, at least in this particular conversation.
And this is how Steve Bannon works, right? And this is how this entire movement works. They understand that they don't have the people and they have to feed propaganda wherever they can, and hook them in. You know, the old organizing philosophy, meet people where they are. And then you can hopefully, in communication philosophy, bring them to your side a little bit more. And so what the far right has done, what Bannon has done, is he understands that he has to look at all these different demographics around the country. They don't win votes by elections by large margins unless it's completely gerrymandered. You know, they look at Florida and say, okay, well, if we can convince a few Democrats to vote Republican, you know, maybe we'll win, Florida again. Or if we can just scrape a little bit of the millennials off of the Democratic rolls, then that's enough. Or if we can get Boris Epshteyn in every single home in America because Sinclair is conservative, we may be able to, trick people into voting Republican again and not trusting the Democrats. And it's like death by 1,000 cuts. But it's not 1,000 cuts. It's actually getting a lot bigger, and it's horrifying.
Absolutely.